Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody, friends, relatives, police officers, and most importantly, the family, because our officers couldn't do it without the family. So thank you for all being here. Thank you for taking the time to out of your day to come for this really great event. It's a combination of both. We're going to be swearing in some new officers this morning, and we're also going to be recognizing other officers for accomplishments above and beyond the normal, or what you might call routine, day-to-day work of police officers. So again, thank you, and it's important that everybody's here. Prior to getting started, I'd like to recognize some dignitaries, first of all. We have Julian Suso, Town Manager, here, thank you. Peter Johnson Stobbs, the Assistant Town Manager, thank you for coming. Chairman of the Board, Sue Moran, thank you for coming. Samuel Patterson, I saw Sam here. This Sam back there, thank you. Michael Palmer, our clerk, is here, town clerk. Couldn't swear in the new officers without him. Thank you for coming, Michael. And then we have Senator Vinnie DiMacedo. Thank you, Vinnie, for all the support. Representative Dylan Fernandez, same thing. Dylan, thank you for all your support. And Representative Dave Vieira. Here he is. Thank you. How's your hand? Did a lot of signing yesterday. Sheriff Cummings, thank you for coming, and thank you for allowing your photographer, Stephen Smear, to be here, because, again, we'd like to document this whole event. We have our police chaplain that we'll hear from very shortly, Rebecca Mencelli's here. Thank you. FCTV and the other news agencies that are here to cover this, really appreciate that. Jennifer Petit, the financial director, is here. Thank you for coming. And Peter McConerty, DPW Deputy Director, thank you. If I could ask Reverend Mencelli to please come up for the opening prayer.
Thank you for the honor to be here. Let us pray. Oh God of us all, thank you for the opportunity to come together today to honor and celebrate the work of the men and women of the Falmouth Police Department, and for the ways they work in conjunction with people and businesses in our community. We are grateful for Samantha and John, who have committed themselves to this department and the safety and protection of the town of Falmouth. We are grateful for the officers who will be recognized today, who have gone above and beyond in their duties and will be acknowledged for their courage, their wisdom, and their sacrifice. And we are grateful that Don and Ryan are with us today. May you continue to grant them strength, healing, direction, and assurance. And may we as a community continue to uphold and honor them for what they went through and for the inspiration they are for us. We ask that all of our officers feel pride in their accomplishments, and may we, their community, continue to offer our support, encouragement, and gratitude for all they do. Amen.
Please remain standing while we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. If I could have the town manager, Julian Suso, come up for a moment, please.
Thank you, Chief. It's my great honor as town manager to welcome all of you here to this gathering. It's an incredible event that we do annually, and I appreciate the Chief for his leadership in assembling this important gathering. Certainly a welcome to all the men and women of the Falmouth Police Department, members of your families, friends, and loved ones. We're delighted to have you join us for this important gathering this morning. As town manager, I recognize how important it is in the successful career of a police officer to have the support on a day-to-day basis of family members, loved ones, friends. As you go into harm's way each day, it's critical that you have that support at home. And we thank all of you here for that support on a daily basis that helps ensure the success of all of our police officers here. So thank you for your service. My congratulations to our honorees, and we look forward to the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. And if I could have the chairman of the board, Sue Moran, come up for a few remarks. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you all for being here. It's my honor as Chair of the Board of Selectmen, on behalf of the board, to thank you for everything you do every single day of the week. You know, in the community, it's not always what you want to see in your rear view mirror. Somebody coming to check you out, see if everything's okay. It's not always a pleasant job. It's you are the front lines. Without you, our community would not be the safe and comfortable place that it is. It's protect and serve. Everything that you give to the community, we every single day of the week are grateful for. The interest that you have in other projects, the Stuff a Cruiser, the Pink Ribbon, the work that you do with the schools, the opioid crisis that you stand between the community and the tragedy. This is something that everyone can't say enough about the police department in Falmouth. You are all leaders. You are all involved. We've got our state senator, our representatives, the town. We are in this together, and there's police, fire, rescue. You are the integral part of how this community benefits, and I just couldn't be more proud of everything that you do. Thank you for your community service. Thank you for just coming in and serving, and thank you for all of the achievements that have gone into these awards today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sue. We're going to start the ceremony off by introducing our two new officers. If I could have the following two officers step forward, Officer John Dacey and Officer Samantha Soares. Front and center here, please. Officer Dacey and Officer Soares attended the Randolph Police Academy from July 28, 2018 through December 19, 2018. Their graduation was held on December 20th, 2018 at the East Bridgewater High School. They are now in their 7th week of the Falmouth Police Department 3-month field training program. I would like to ask Falmouth Town Clerk Michael Palmer to come forward and administer the oath of office to each officer, please.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, John Dacey,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
perform all duties incumbent upon me
perform all duties incumbent upon me
as a police officer for the town of Falmouth,
as a police officer for the town of Falmouth,
to the best of my ability and understanding.
to the best of my ability and understanding.
I will support the Constitution and laws
I will support the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
and the bylaws of the town of Falmouth.
and the bylaws of the town of Falmouth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Michael. If now, Officer Dacey and Officer Soares will be pinned by Lieutenant Doyle. If Lieutenant Doyle could come forward, please.
Vinny and Dylan too?
Yeah. We also give our officers, they're both veterans, so they're gonna get their veteran pins today and their first initiation pin for being police officers. Yours is on backwards. We'll get it to you. You get the but you both have your veterans pins. And if I could have David and Dylan and Vinny.
Thank you, Chief. Congratulations, John and Samantha. Welcome aboard, even though you've been on the ship for a few weeks already. But you are embarking on a very important endeavor. I began my career with Sheriff Cummings, but not out on the street, patrolling the streets, but working for an agency where I was able to get a deep understanding and the sacrifices that you all make in uniform and that your families make alongside you. Proud to announce that last week I was appointed again as the ranking member of the Public Safety Homeland Security Committee in the House. So looking forward to our continuing working together in our relationship, not only here in Falmouth, but as the Commonwealth looks at our Criminal Justice Commission, of which I'm a member, to hear, and I'll be coming back to the department, to hear your input of the recommendations that this commission will make. Because if we sit in Boston and make recommendations about your future, your life, your career, without talking to you, then we're not doing our job. So congratulations. We have resolutions from the House recognizing your appointments today, and I'll let my colleagues say a few words and issue the citations.
Well, congratulations. You know, it's a really humbling thing to be able to honor the law enforcement officers in Falmouth. It's just a terrific force that you're joining, a terrific group of individuals. And we write the laws, and our democracy is dependent upon those on the ground to enforce them on a daily basis. And we can't have a strong, well-run, thoughtful democracy without people there to enforce the laws and uphold our values. And every day, the Falmouth Police Department and the individual members among it enforce those laws to make sure that Falmouth is a wonderful place to live, that our state is a great place to raise a family, and it makes sure that our country is the envy of the world. The fact that you guys on a daily basis are fighting and working to uphold our country, our town, our state's values. And so we are tremendously humbled that you guys have been sworn in, and it's just an honor to be able to present you with these citations today. So thank you for your service.
Simply, we know that both of you have made a decision early on in life that you were going to serve this great nation, and you served proudly as in our armed services, and now you're here to serve your community. And we are grateful for your sacrifice and the time that you've put in. As the chairwoman said earlier on in regards to the fact that we are beneficiaries of your sacrifice. We live in a community that is safe and secure, and we are all incredibly grateful for that. It would not be that if it were not for your sacrifice, all of you who serve here on the front lines. And we are so incredibly grateful to all of you. Thank you for your dedication. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Sure. We're doing this all right now.
Yeah, we just do.
Okay. So we got some swag here from the State House. I'm just going to read this citation. I think it's worth noting that Massachusetts is the longest continually. Our Massachusetts state legislature is the longest continually operating Democratic legislature in the world, and this comes directly from our legislative body, and it says, "Here it be known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Officer John Dacey and Officer Samantha Soares. Portuguese? Did I pronounce that right? Great. Well, we have a Portuguese delegation right here, so you're in good company. Nice hire, Chief. In recognition of your commitment to the safety and protection of the citizens of the town of Falmouth and being sworn in as a Falmouth police officer, congratulations. You're going to present one as well.
Congratulations. Congratulations. That's it for you two. You can have a seat. Now we'll move on to our award ceremony. It is essential as a police department to have an effective disciplinary process, which we do. It is equally important to employ a positive program of awarding commendations for outstanding duty performance. This is a means by which deserving employees can receive official recognition for their accomplishments. And we have a board that reviews the different incidents through the years, and they're all submitted through the supervisors of the department. And the board consists of myself, the Chief of Police, Captain Jeffrey Smith, Lieutenant DaCosta. I believe we have Sergeant Carl was involved in that also. And then we have someone from the Patrol Division, James Rogers. And we review all of these different incidents as to who receives an award and what we believe have better deserved it than just the normal routine. And as you can see, it's been a busy year. You look at the table behind me, and behind you is all the room. And I really appreciate all the hard work that the men and women of this police department have put forward this year. We're going to start out with the commitment to community policing. With the following officers, please step forward. Officer Megan Andrade. Detective Christopher Bartolome. I think some of them are in the hallway.
Yeah, they can't even fit in the room.
Sergeant Jamie Donahue. Lieutenant Sean Doyle. Officer Elvira Ferrer. Sergeant Benjamin Guthrie. Lieutenant Christopher Hamilton. Officer Clifford Harris. Sent the captain out to get him inside. Officer Ryan Hurt. Lieutenant Brian Kinsella. Officer Christopher Livingston. Detective Andrew Lowen. Sergeant Brian Lowen. Detective David Massey. Officer Julia Massey. Officer Joshua Oliver. Officer James Porter. Officer James Rogers. Officer Stephen Sr. Oh, need a bigger room. A lot of good work's been done this year. Officer Paul Stefanelli. And Officer Paul Whiting. During the year, the police department engaged in many community initiatives. These included Stuff a Cruiser, Special Olympics Tip-a-Cop, Special Olympics football game. These officers volunteered on their own time to make these programs a success. Their commitment to the department and the community exemplifies what this department looks for in dedicated officers. We thank each and every one of these officers for their selfishness and commitment. Thank you. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Thank you.
Jamie Donahue,
Thank you.
Sean Doyle. Elvira. Hamilton. Sorry. Ryan Hurt. Andy.
Thank you.
His brother.
Hiding back there.
David Massey. Right here. Oh, right here.
Thank you.
Julia.
Want to take hers?
Sure.
Thank you, Jim.
Stephen Senior.
Leanne. Thank you.
That's it.
Have another round of applause, please. We have to stand up, right, Jeff? Okay, so that's it. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. Dan Guthrie's not here. Right.
Danielle Smith.
Okay. Danielle Smith, can you come up, please? Hi. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You didn't know your day was going to be like this, right?
No, I didn't.
That's okay. This is Danielle Smith. And each year the Falmouth Police Department holds its Stuff a Cruiser event in front of Walmart during the Christmas season. And we are deeply gratified by the partnership we have with Walmart. This past season, we collected more toys than ever. And we believe this was a direct result of Walmart's new manager, Danielle Smith. She took the active role in the collection of toys, made announcements in her store encouraging shoppers to donate to our cause. She also made a generous donation on behalf of Walmart. Danielle, we can't thank you enough. Your hospitality, your partnership, we share with your store. Thank you very much. We're also giving you the Chiefs Award coin.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hold on, I want a photograph here. We got some other swag for you too.
Oh, goodness. Thank you. Thank you.
Cameras everywhere.
I know. I could get used to this.
Rob Lowen. Sitting in the reserve section over there, the Lowens. Hi, Rob. Thank you. The past 2 years, Iacp, which is part of the Special Olympics, has been held at the British Beer Company in Falmouth. Iacp is an official law enforcement torch run campaign for a fundraising event. Law enforcement officers and department personnel volunteer their time as celebrity waiters. How do we do anyways? Do pretty good? To collect tips at the British Beer Company to support the Special Olympics Massachusetts. Law enforcement personnel act as celebrity waiters along with the wait staff and interact with the restaurant guests. We are very thankful for the partnership we have with the local British Beer Company. When the department first contacted Rob Lowen, manager of the BBC, about the event, he embraced the opportunity. Rob took an active role in advertising the event, encouraging his patrons to participate in the event. A great time is always had by all. Rob, we can't thank you enough for supporting the local police department, as this provides an opportunity for our police to interact with the community in a positive way. Thank you again for the partnership you share with us. Thank you. We also have a certificate, and I also have a Chiefs Award coin, and I believe Dylan has some more swag there
David
too.
and I and Vinny have another State House citation.
So,
Thank you very much.
Photographer over here.
Yeah.
Thank you
very much. Appreciate it.
You're gonna read the Crowley one, right? Even though he's not there?
Huh?
You're gonna read it?
Yeah.
Even though he's not there?
And again, that is really important that we have those partnerships with the community, because we couldn't do it without them. So we really do appreciate it, and that's why we really wanted to recognize him. One other individual that I want to recognize, he's not here, couldn't make it today, but I'm going to read it about the event. And he will be receiving a certificate of commendation. His name is Mr. John Crawley. On May 28, 2018, Officer Moore conducted a motor vehicle stop on T-Ticket Highway. As soon as the vehicle stopped, the operator quickly exited his vehicle and began to approach the officer. The officer instructed him to return to his vehicle. The subject ignored the instructions. The subject began to walk towards what he described as his residence. The subject continued to ignore the officer and ran towards the house, with Officer Moore giving chase. Officer Moore attempted to take him into custody, but he actively resisted. The subject ignored commands to stop resisting and to put his hands behind his back. A struggle ensued while the officer was trying to place him into handcuffs. The officer realized it was going to be difficult to take the subject into custody on his own. At this time, 5 or 6 people walked out of the suspect's house. The subject was able to thwart the officer's efforts and was able to get back onto his feet. As the officer was trying to regain control of the subject, he observed a man running towards him. The male, identified as John Crowley, stated he was there to help and immediately grabbed hold of the subject. Crowley assisted with, Crowley's assistant was just what the officer needed to gain control of the situation. The subject was then able to be handcuffed. Crowley's action was clearly instrumental in not only taking the subject into custody, but also preventing provincial escape or injury to the officer. We thank Mr. Crowley for risking his own safety and coming to the aid of the officers. For his action, he'll be presented with a certificate of commendation and the Chief's Award coin. You know, that's remarkable that someone in the citizens, normally what happens is people do what? Take out their cell phones and they start recording it all, and as the officer's struggling, and they don't give him help. So really, we appreciate Mr. Crowley's efforts in assisting our officer on that day. Would Sergeant Rogers and Officer Murray please step forward? Morning. Morning. On March 3rd, 2018, officers responded to an East Falmouth resident for a report of a violent encounter. It was also reported that there was a male party with a gun in the residence. As officers arrived, they took tactical positions outside the home. The male, believed to be the suspect, exited the house with a flashlight and stood in the yard. Sergeant Rogers and Officer Murray, the closest officers, took the opportunity to attempt to take the suspect into custody. The suspect quickly retreated back into his house. Sergeant Rogers and Officer Murray pursued the suspect into the residence as other officers held the tactical position in the entryway. Sergeant Rogers and Officer Murray called out the suspect to surrender, and they were able to convince him to do so without incident. The following officers performed admirably and showed tactical proficiency during the incident: Officer Alexander Bush, John Castleberry, John DuPont, and Sergeant Seminole. Sergeant Rogers and Officer Murray not only performed admirably, but also risked their own personal safety in an attempt to reach a peaceful conclusion to a volatile scene. For this, they are being awarded a certificate of commendation for excellent police work. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Would the following dispatchers and officers please step forward? Dispatcher Mary Blinn. Detective Christopher Bartolome. Detective Ronald Carpenter, Detective David Massey, Sergeant Benjamin Guthrie, Officer Keith Benedetti, Officer Anthony DeVito, Officer Charles Markin, and Officer James Rogers. On June 9th, 2018, officers were dispatched to Shorewood Drive residents regarding a possible break-in and entering in progress. While en route, dispatcher Blinn relayed the information from the seasonal homeowner that the resident was equipped with security cameras. Dispatcher Blinn was able to relay a description of the suspect from the captured image from the security system. When the officers arrived, they confirmed the house had been broken into, located a point of entry, and observed blood droplets apparently left from the suspect when he attempted to gain entry. The suspect was not located at the scene. As additional officers arrived, Sergeant Guthrie provided them with an image of the suspect. Detective Bartolome immediately recognized the suspect as someone who lived in the immediate area. Detective Massey made contact with the suspect, who was at the hospital getting treated for injury to his hand. The suspect was soon placed under arrest at the hospital. The arrest was the end result of outstanding police work and teamwork by all involved, including the homeowner. These officers will be awarded a certificate of excellent police work. Thank you. Chris, thank you, sir. Anthony, there you go. Copy. Good job. Chelsea?
Thank you.
David? And Mary? Keith? Thank you. Round of applause for him. Yeah, and you also have certificates from the house in there too, so. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's another group. Unit Citation Award. Would the following personnel please step forward? You ready?
Yep.
Lieutenant Sean Doyle. Oh, I'm hallway now. Sergeant James Cummings. Detective Christopher Bartolome. Detective Andrew Lowen. Officer Newton Cardozo. Officer Elvira Ferrer. Officer Clifford Harris. Yeah. Line them up. Officer Chad Layton. Officer Christopher Livingston. Officer Thomas McGuire. Seasonal Officer Pike. Dispatcher Sean Lowe. And Dispatcher Caitlin Kester. As you all know, on July 27th, we had an officer-involved shooting on Seacoast Shores. This is the worst call any officer or dispatcher wants to hear on the radio. These officers and dispatchers acted heroically and professionally. They maintained their composure throughout and relied on their training to properly secure the scene. They immediately set up a perimeter, identified any potential witnesses, and searched the area and home for additional suspects. Within moments, Falmouth Fire and Rescue personnel arrived and began treating those injured. They took over the care of the injured suspect who was being treated by the police personnel. We cannot thank the Falmouth Fire Department enough for their care rendered to our officers. In addition, several law enforcement agencies came to our aid, including the Mashpee Police Department, who assisted in closing off Seacoast Shores, the Bourne Police Department, who partnered with officers so we could continue to patrol and provide safety to the community of Falmouth, the Barnstable Police Department, who sent their whole detective unit to assist in the investigation, the State Police Detective Unit, who took over the officer-involved shooting investigation, and the Barnstable County Sheriff's Department, who provided canine officers to assist in securing the scene. We extend our most sincere gratitude to these agencies who answered the call for us when we needed it the most. To the officers and dispatchers here who were involved in our harrowing first moments, we appreciate and recognize each of you for the way you represented the Falmouth Police Department. Your commitment to duty, your steadfast approach during the stressful situation is something the community should know. Having professionals like you should be comforting to the citizens who rely on your response when they are in need. Thank you. They will be getting the unit citation, and they're also going to be getting recognition from the House of Representatives, and they get a unit citation pin. Thank you.
Sergeant Cummings.
Sergeant Cummings. Thank you.
So going in order. Detective Bartolo.
Thank you, Chris.
Detective Williams. Newton. Elvira. Clifford Lee. Chris Lindsay. McGuire's not here. Pike. Caitlin Kessler. And that is Sean.
Thank you. Please, another round of applause, please. I'm going to ask that you all stay up here, please, in assisting our officer on that day. Would Sergeant Rogers and Officer Murray please step forward? Morning. Morning. On March 3rd, 2018, officers responded to an East Falmouth resident for a report of a violent encounter. It was also reported that there was a male party with a gun in the residence. As officers arrived, they took tactical positions outside the home. The male, believed to be the suspect, exited the house with a flashlight and stood in the yard. Sergeant Rogers and Officer Murray, the closest officers, took the opportunity to attempt to take the suspect into custody. The suspect quickly retreated back into his house. Sergeant Rogers and Officer Murray pursued the suspect into the residence as other officers held the tactical position in the entryway. Sergeant Rogers and Officer Murray called out the suspect to surrender, and they were able to convince him to do so without incident. The following officers performed admirably and showed tactical proficiency during the incident. Officer Alexander Bush, John Castleberry, John DuPont, and Sergeant Semino. Sergeant Rogers and Officer Murray not only performed admirably, but also risked their own personal safety in an attempt to reach a peaceful conclusion to a volatile scene. For this, they are being awarded a certificate of commendation for excellent police work. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. With the following dispatchers and officers, please step forward. Dispatcher Mary Blinn. Detective Christopher Bartolome. Detective Ronald Carpenter. Detective David Massey. Sergeant Benjamin Guthrie. Officer Keith Benedetti. Officer Anthony DeVito. Officer Charles Markin. And Officer James Rogers. On June 9th, 2018, officers were dispatched to Shorewood Drive residents regarding a possible break-in and entering in progress. While en route, dispatcher Blinn relayed the information from the seasonal homeowner that the resident was equipped with security cameras. Dispatcher Blinn was able to relay a description of the suspect from the captured image from the security system. Don't go anywhere. We also, each year we have a program here in the police department that each month we honor. We don't just wait for the year to honor all our officers. Each month we have an officer of the month, and that is something that we've done for many years. And the officer of the month is selected by the supervisors from the lieutenants and sergeants for officers who have gone above and beyond. But part of that program we also have is the officer of the year. And again, that selection is done by the command staff for officers who have really gone above and beyond. This year, and then notice what it says and what your program says, officer of the year. This year it has changed. This year there's going to be officers of the year. And the officers of the year selected by the command staff of the Falmouth Police Department are Officer Donnie DeMiranda and Ryan Moore. Couldn't have been two better people picked for that. So again, thank you. Still don't go anywhere. Shortly after the incident, I'm a member of the International Association for Chiefs of Police, and that's a worldwide association. And they also give out recognition to officers. And the IACP, it's an award that it's an award that we don't strive for, but it's a survivor award. And let me read something from the IACP. Officer Safety and Wellness honor. we don't just wait for the year to honor all our officers. Each month we have an Officer of the Month, and that is something that we've done for many years. And the Officer of the Month is selected by the supervisors from the lieutenants and sergeants for officers who have gone above and beyond. But part of that program we also have is the Officer of the Year. And again, that selection is done by the command staff for officers who have really gone above and beyond. This year, and then notice what it says and what your program says, Officer of the Year. This year it has changed. This year there's going to be Officers of the Year. And the Officers of the Year selected by the command staff of the Falmouth Police Department are Officer Donnie DeMiranda and Ryan Moore. Couldn't have been two better people picked for that. So again, thank you. Still don't go anywhere. Shortly after the incident, I'm a member of the International Association for Chiefs of Police, and that's a worldwide association. And they also give out recognition to officers. And the IACP, it's an award that it's an award that we don't strive for, but it's a survivor award. And let me read something from the IACP. Officer safety and wellness has always been the IACP's top priority. Our organization belief is that no injury or death of a law enforcement officer is acceptable. The IACP and DuPont Kevlar Survivors Club is a partnership that supports and enhances the IACP officer safety and wellness efforts. The Survivor Club is built around three principles: recognition, awareness, and practice. Through these three principles, the club and its members strive to reduce injury and death by advocating personal body armor being worn by all law enforcement officers. As this award, the Survivors Club Award to Donald D. Miranda, is in recognition of his efforts and encouragement that brings awareness to the importance of body armor amongst officers.
Acknowledging years of service anniversaries with certificates and a medallion for our many employees for their dedicated years of service to the town of Falmouth. So I very much appreciate Chief Dunn allowing me to work with Selectman Chair Sue Moran and Selectman Sam Patterson in passing along these certificates signed by the Board of Selectmen and myself, as well as the medallion. The medallions are in 5-year increments of years of service, and we give the honoree the respective medallion that is closest to their year of service. So Sue will go ahead and read the names, and we'll have folks come forward. In the event that we've missed anyone, we'll catch up in the end, and Sam will give me a hand in making certain we have the right medallion to give to the honoree. Sue?
Thank you. What an incredibly humbling ceremony. We continue our gratitude with these certificates of recognition. The first is Ryan Moore for 6 years of loyal professional, dedicated, and honorable service to the town of Falmouth. Next, Anthony DeVito for 10 years.
Thank you.
It's a hearty handshake. Next, we have Elvira Ferreira. 10 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service.
David Massey, 10 years. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you for your service, David.
James Cummings, 12 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service, Chief.
James Porter, 12 years. Thank you, officer.
Thank you. Thank you for your service, Chief.
James Donahue, 13 years. Did I screw up?
Jamie.
Jamie,
for your
whoa.
service, Jamie.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Andrew Lowen, 13 years. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your service, Andy.
Christopher Bartolome, 14 years. Appreciate it.
Call me Bart too.
Bart.
There you go.
Thanks for
Should
your
be right
service.
on there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Jamie Carl, 14 years. We'll hold.
Give it back to his office.
Okay, Brian Lowen, 16 years.
Thanks for your service.
Keith Benedetti, 18 years. Grateful. Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Ronald Carpenter, 19 years. Thank you, officer.
Thank you for your service, Rob. Thanks, man.
Clifford Harris, 19 years. Thanks, Cliff. Thank you.
Thanks for your service, Cliff.
Brian Kinsella, 19 years. Thank you, officer.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your service, Brian.
Brian Reed, 20 years. Officer Reed, thank you so much.
Thank you for your service, Brian.
Michael Rogers, 20 years. Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service, Michael.
Michael Simino, 20 years. Great.
Thank you for your service, Michael.
John Doyle, 22 years. Incredible. Thank you.
Thanks for your service, John. Thanks.
Douglas DaCosta, 23 years. Lieutenant, thank you.
Thank you for your service, Doug.
Melinda Rebello, 23 years. Wow.
Thank you for your service, Melinda.
Christopher Hamilton, 24 years. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you for your service, Chris.
Charles Markin, 27 years. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you for your service, Charles.
Jeffrey Smith, 28 years. Whoa.
Jeff, thank you for your service. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Kimberly Pacheco, 30 years. Gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Ruben Ferreira, 31 years. Very grateful.
Thank you for your support.
And that's the top. Thank
Thank
you
you,
all.
everyone. Thank you for your service.
Boy, how many years? If anybody was missed, because I know some people came in, here we go. Right here. One more, one more. People snuck in, so.
This is an incredible honor, I'll tell you. Lloyd Thompson, 21 years.
I'll help you out. If I could have Rebecca Mentelli come up just for the closing prayer, please.
Let us pray. Oh God, thank you for the celebration of this morning. In a job where there is danger, stress, crisis, and uncertainty, we are thankful for these times when our officers can feel appreciated in the company of one another and the community they serve. May they feel a renewed sense of enthusiasm for their vocation as they go forth this day. And be with their families also, Lord, as they too share in the sacrifice this job entails. And now, O God, who wants peace and justice for all across this land, may your strength, courage, wisdom, and protection be with the women and men of our police department. And may we all be inspired to work together for the common good of our Falmouth community. Amen.
Thank you. If I could ask the people standing just to turn, and let's give those men and women back there another round of applause, please. That concludes the ceremony. We now have coffee, cake, and pastries from the French bakery. So please stay and enjoy.